Wow. Here we are, February 12th. Sun's coming up right now. Look at the color in this sunrise. Look at that. Let me zoom in on that. Wow. Look at that, would you? Again, over the top of Smith Mountain, Virginia. That's where that's at, right there. That's coming up right over the top of the mountain. Look at the sky. And the color's all the way over to there. Which is more, I would say, according to the compass, a little bit more north than it is east. Now there's the sun, which should be direct east. And that isn't even up yet, because it's not quite 7 o'clock yet, and it's not supposed to be sunrise until after 7, like quarter after, 20 after. 7 o'clock before it's actually officially sunrise. Man, look at that. Look at those colors. Let me zoom in again. That's as much as this camera will do. And it kind of tends to lose focus when I zoom in like that. Folks, I just got done listening to a better than 2-hour interview by Bob Evans with YouTube channel Leak Report or Leak Reports. Highly recommend going and having a listen to that, because he has put together a lot of pieces of this puzzle, tying all kinds of dots together. And I've tied the dots of slavery together as far as the legal fictional world. And I just wrote him an email before I come out here, wanting to get together with him and go global with this information, because folks need to know about this stuff. Between this, NIBIRU, Nemesis, Planet X, Red Kachina, Blue Kachina, the Hopi prophecies, the Catholic Church, and all the stuff behind the reptilian race that has enslaved mankind and called it mankind versus just flat out man. Folks, it's all about what I was mentioning in yesterday's video capture. Compassion, folks. We need to lose all fear, which is what the reptilian-based race, the Anunnaki, that's what they want us to play into, that fear. Because if we play into that fear-based mentality, guess what? The entire population will pretty much get desecrated, wiped out, and they will have won, which is exactly what they want. They want people to play into the fear-based mentality. Because as soon as we play into that fear-based mentality, that lowers the frequency and the vibrations on this planet to where, trying to get across, I'm up on the roof, as you can hear the tin crinkling. I'm trying to get back down to this from behind the tree there. So that I'm not behind that tree, because there's some awesome color back in back of that tree, that big oak out in front of me here. And look at how that blue cloud cover is doing, the shape of it. It's like, wow. Obscure and distinct outlines right there where that little peak comes out. Look at the oranges and the pastel colors. Vibrant. Mother Nature at her most awesome display of just what a beautiful planet we have here on Earth. And look at that sun coming through, coming up. Oh, the dust of dawn light just went out, so yeah, that sun's gonna pop up over the mountaintop, the peak, one more time. And folks, this is what all FEMA and the black boxes, this is what it's all about, is this planetary, galactic planetary stuff. It all ties together. And see, I found what's called a 13 moon calendar back in 2012 when all the big hype was going on about it happening then. The end of the world and the end of the earth and all this catastrophe, blah, 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 fear porn. I call that fear porn. That's what it is. Well, I found this 13 moon calendar that a brilliant man and some of his compadres put together down in Central or South America by the name of Jose Arguelles. It's called the 13 moon calendar or 13 dream spell calendar. And it gets us off of the Roman Gregorian Jack in the Box calendar that I call it, and puts you back into a natural state of time, which there is no time. It's all continuum. Beginning, now, and the end is all one and the same. There is no so-called end, or there is no so-called time. Time in that calendar is art, and art is beauty in each and every being on this planet. The horses, like those horses right there, the birds that we hear in the background, the dogs, the cats, the sick, the blind, the deaf, the physically handicapped and challenged, everything, the beauty. Right now, everyone celebrated New Year on January the 1st. Well, guess what? Has this earth come out of its winter yet? No, so therefore it's not New Year until when? Spring, when spring forths life again. That is a new year, folks. Just like right now, that sun coming up over the mountain is a new day. Although last night, when the sun went down, that was the end of yesterday. Not at 12 midnight. You know, this is how crazy society has become, believing everything that they're told without investigating and researching and just using some common sense. And all these words, like I just said that word, sense, S-E-N-S-E. Or is it C-E-N-T-S, as they want you to believe? Time is money. When all the money on the whole entire planet is nothing but debt. There is no money. Can I look at that tree right there? And in the spring, when that tree starts blooming out, shooting out buds, that oak tree right in front of us, is there going to be any money hanging on any one of these trees come springtime? No. Unless you look at the fruit and the nuts that trees provide us to eat and live on, sustain our life. There is no money on any tree, folks. It's all man-made fiction, total fiction. And according to the good book, and I'm no religious fanatic either. I'm spiritual, but I'm not religious. Look at the color. So when you put the picture into a bigger perspective, fear is what they want the planet to be in. Because if the planet's in fear and not united, we all fall divided. It's the age-old tactic since the last time we've encountered this most wondrous time where Nemesis is coming into our solar system. And that's the age-old thing that's been here ever since. Fear, 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 fear. People fear. People fear, so that everybody's divided, so that they, the Anunnaki, reptilian slave masters, want us under that fear-based mentality so that they can divide and conquer. What do you think the whole Middle East is all about? What do you think that whole war-mongering effort going on over there is about? Same thing they did here on what's so-called North, South, Central America, which is nothing but a facade. It was all put under by the King of England, King Charles II, who was King of England, Scotland, Ireland, and France all at the same time. Go watch an episode of Daniel Boone. Why did that same king put his French troops and his English troops over on this soil called America today and have them killing one another? The same age-old thing. You know, it's just like Germany and Nazis, and it's the bankers, the evil reptilians that want to see people kill each other. It's sacrifice. It's blood sacrifice. Same thing the Bible talked about in the days of Babylon and the flood, and Noah's flood. It's the same old trick being played over and over and over again, folks. When are we going to break free of this and wake up? Get out of the fear-based mentalities. Look what happened at 9/11. Everybody in the country here, and even in the world, came together. Why? Because we felt the pain, the suffering. But then a week later, everything's back to business as usual. Time is money, blah, 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 blah. And everybody buys that shit. Hook, line, and sinker. Excuse my French, but it gets me quite riled up to see people who are grown, supposed to be grown adults, so damn ignorant they can't think for themselves anymore. Now, granted, I know they're poison in the air, they're poison in the foods and all this and that, but still, come on, folks. You're better than that. I love you all, each and every one of you. And we can beat this thing without ever lifting a gun, without ever having violence. All it takes is compassion and love for one another. That's simple. If everybody's vibration would raise to that elevation, guess what? There would be no war, ever. There would be no so-called evil. What is evil? What's the devil? Evil with a D in front of it. What's God? G-O-D minus, add another O, I should say, in the middle of there, and you got good. Good and bad. It's that constant age-old battle between good and evil. Sure, we got to have some bad so that we recognize the good, but nothing like it's going on today. And do we really got to have bad? In my opinion, no. Everybody wants to say, oh, there's got to be balance. There's got to be balance. Well, it's time for the scales to swing the other way. Matter of fact, we come back on 9/22/1968. Look it up. Get on your Google and look that date and time up in so-called his story. Whereas otherwise, when they get you to pronounce it so fast, you don't realize that it's saying it's his story. It's history. Like the state we came back in was called Rhode Island and Providence Plantation. But yet everybody on the planet wants to say that so quick, they call it Rhode Island and Providence Plantation. No, it's not Providence, divine providence. No, it's divine providence. Providence. Spell the word out, sound it out, syllableize it as if you were still in first grade, second grade, third grade, when they teach you this in English class. Come on, folks. Wake up, snap out of your slumber and your sleep. Wake up, people. This stuff is second grade, elementary school level stuff that they're using against grown adults. It's so ridiculous. It just drives me berserk that people cannot figure it out at all. So back to the date that we came back this time around. Look it up. What was it that day? A total solar eclipse and a new moon. And why was it a total solar eclipse? Because it came to block out the sun. Because little do you so-called religious people know all over the world, you all are keeping the wrong day. According to the Bible, it says keep the Sabbath holy. If you break it, you've broken them all. And the Sabbath is Saturday. You can look at any language in any land on this planet, and Sabbath is Sabbath. That's it. That's all. And it's Saturday. Even in their Roman Gregorian calendar, they show you every week on your calendar, the last day of the week is Saturday, not Sunday. That's where the old saying comes out, a day late and a dollar short. Because everybody goes and worships on Sunday, which is what's coming up right now, the sun. And they got you people worshiping the sun. Little do you know it, you're worshiping the sun. And you're not balanced there. Because mama, the earth that we all stand on, is mama. Then you got the other mama, the moon, the dark side. You got the light and the day. That's your good. There's your evil. This stuff is so elementary, folks, when you stop and think about what I'm sharing with you. Look at the sun come up today, folks. Look at this beauty. This is the kind of stuff, this is living. This is what we're supposed to be doing every day, not getting up and going to work like all these vehicles going up and down the road, these cars, automobiles. See, you call them a vehicle, and guess what? You fall under legal fiction. You call yourself driving, you just fell under legal fiction. That's why they're able to give you tickets, violations. But yet you call it traveling, like it should be called, and you're no longer driving, which means you can no longer get a ticket. This stuff is so common, simple. Simple, Simon. Simon says simple. But we've all been brain trained, not brainwashed. See, there's another one, another prime example. The whole planet is out here telling everybody, oh, everybody, the ones that are awake are saying that the ones not awake are brainwashed. No, beg to differ with you folks. Y'all have been, and I was too, brain trained. Like a monkey, like a dog, like a horse right there. We train them to do what we like them to do. Just like these slave masters have trained us to do what they want us to do. One is brainwashed, like when they go take a shower. They scrub themselves clean with some water and some soap. Well, what's the water and soap to become unbrain trained and actually wash that brain? One has to do some study, some self-educating to undo the training that's put you into slavery. And who did that? We did it to ourselves by foolishly believing all the lies. Lie is right in the middle of believe. B-L-I-E. There's your lie and Eve. And look up there. What's that? A spaceship flying? Is that a ship I see flying? Or is that an airplane? What is that? I don't see it in the camera. But it's not leaving any trails whatsoever, folks. Is that being caught? Is that an extraterrestrial vehicle right there? Because that is dang sure not an airplane. And I hope to God it is being caught on this camera. I hope and I pray. And I will that this be caught on cam. Because that thing is not leaving one shred of chemtrail or even vapors out the back. But there is a dark object up there just cruising along. I just happened to catch that. Now, it's shaped sort of like a plane, but shoot, I can't see it from here. It's so small, and I don't want to get off of this, because look at what's coming up over here, folks. And that sun is already well up above the peak of that mountain. It come out from behind all those cloud cover. And that's what they're spraying that for. They keep spraying all these chemtrails because they don't want people to see what's going on above you folks. But yet, all you folks are in a panic and in a big uproar about chemtrails. Oh, they're poisoning us. Oh, they're Hey, you know what? You think they are poisoning you, and guess what? Your thoughts become manifest. Just like the so-called Bible creation story. It was thought about, and then it was spoken, and then it was in existence. Just that simple. So the more you guys fear out here and think about fear, the fear thought breeds fear, an action, a reaction. And this is exactly what these reptilian people, so-called people, they're not even people. They're not man. They are not man. They're here to enslave this whole population called the human race. Not African Americans and black and white and all. Those are crayon colors. When a man or a woman has darker skin than the next, that's called melanation. Melanated. It's not called black and white. Black and white's in a Crayola crayon box. You know? Black, the lack of light. White, I forget right off now. There's so many definitions that I've looked up, I can't recall them all. But folks, I'm going to tell you here and now. You start looking up and they're there. They're not our words, but their language of legalese, like Portuguese, Vietnamese. Well, they made a whole language called legalese. It's English, but it's not your common everyday English like folks think it is. Like I was talking about, travel versus drive, cannabis, a cannabis plant versus marijuana. Yeah, they created that label to charge folks and put people in prisons for that. When it's a God-given Mother Nature, God-given mothers gave us that plant to heal, to eat, to drink, to use. Over 1,000 uses come out of the cannabis plant alone. 1,000 positive uses. There is no negative whatsoever about that plant. But your reptilian, left brain thinking people demonized it. Why? So they can enslave everybody else and call it bad and demonize it. Look at the demon word. Demon. D-E. Go look it up. D-E. Like when you go to college, you get a degree. D-E is to take away from. So all you folks that went to college, what got took away from you? Demon. Demon. Think about a Jamaican when he says, "Yeah, man. Hey, man. Top of the day, man. 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 M-O-N is man." So the demon is what? Take away man. Go look it up and then come back and tell me I fooled you and I tricked you like they have. Nah, I'm here to bring the truth and shed the truth and shine this light on you folks. Called truth. That is the light. That is the way. The truth shall make you free. We all got to pick each other up because we've all been put down so far. But I'm here to tell y'all, we came back. It was a total solar eclipse and a new moon. And this is the purpose. Why? 47 years I've been trying to figure it out. For 40 years I wandered in the desert as those Bibles teach you. And what's that word? Bible. Bible. In other words, bull, you know what. Because if they could trick you guys and then in the masses of people like they had me when I was a young man into thinking that stuff was the divine word of God. Well, no, there's truths in it. But they're all in dark sayings, allegories, and parables. They tell you right in there, losing and leaving the doctrines of Christ, the laying on of hands, the baptisms and all that, and go on unto perfection. But yet here out in the material world, there's millions upon millions and billions of people going and getting baptized underwater. They're following doctrines of man called Christianity, Catholicism, Hinduism, Buddhism, all this other nonsense to divide and conquer. They're not teaching you no truth up in there. They're not telling you these words right straight out of that same Bible. They say in law, if it sounds alike, it is alike. Well, look at the state we came back, Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. Well, when you say it quick, that's all it is. But break that stuff down, you got road, R-H-O-D-E. Well, what else sounds like that? R-O-A-D? Do you think it's possible it was the Rhode Island into this whole mainland called North, Central, and South America? Yes, I know it was. That was the Rhode Island, and it was also the 13th colony, the last colony to sign on and say, all right, let's go ahead and enslave all these people over here now. They were on the fence. Go look up the D-O-R-R rebellion of Rhode Island in the beginning. While it was a colony. Look at the word colony. What do you got there? Take the Y away, and what do you got? Colon. Same thing with the Bible S. Bible what? Bullshit. And what's the colon? What's the colon produce? Where does your shit come out of? A colon. A colon E. A colon I. Colony. There you go, folks. See how trickery the words all are. It's all about the word. Why do you think the book of James talk about the tongue being thy hardest member of the body to tame? because we speak these words and we cast spells against ourselves all day, every day. Or we make good spells for ourselves all day, every day. When we know that the words are the main root behind this deception, behind this game, behind the facade. I'm here to pull the curtain back like the Wizard of Oz showed you. A man is not supposed to have a last name till he's 6 foot under this earth. And the man don't go there, just the shell. Like when your car wears out, what do? You haul it to the junkyard. Well, when this body wears out, it gets hauled to the junkyard. Look up here, let me turn this phone. Look at those streaks up there. If that doesn't look like what some would say, the hand of God. Look at that. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just like a hand spread out. Coming from that sun, there's fingers sticking up in those clouds. Do y'all see that? Do y'all see that? And that's what? I'm sitting here talking about what? If that's not divine providence, I don't know what to tell you folks. Go back to sleep. It'll be all over before you know it. And I just don't know what to tell people. I've tried to share this stuff and I have no platform other than my voice, the internet, and it's about high time I start putting out my truth, because I figured all this legal fiction out, so much to the fact that I've settled a $420 so-called obligation for the name that the government created by stealing and hijacking and shanghaiing our names, our given names that mom gave us long before the government ever seen us come out in their hospital. Yeah, you get shanghaied at birth. That's why they say you're under their slave thumb and the boot from cradle to grave. You work all your life for what? Pieces of paper. Meanwhile, folks like myself for the past 8 years are out doing this in the morning, enjoying life. When I get done, if I want to go back in and go to bed, that's what I do. If I want to go in and hang out and play on the internet, that's what I'll do. If I want to get in the truck and go for a ride, that's what I'll do. Do I have state tags? No. Why? Because the state tag is a flag. Just like when you're out in the ocean and you got United States or Russia or whoever. Well, when you're riding up and down the road with one of their state flags, aka license plate, you just said, hey, I'm a good slave and I belong. I've given up my automobile for a slave tag, so that the police officer, instead of being a peace officer, when the police officer meets you on the side of the road because you're flying their flag, he says, come with me, or here's your tickets, or whatever. I'm going to search your vehicle. Yada, yada, yada. Yeah? I've settled, back to that, I settled a $420 so-called obligation for their name by knowing what I'm speaking to you folks. I got verification, I got evidence from their court systems that I did not use one red cent, and that $420 obligation went away. And matter of fact, they sent me a letter and said the case was found closed 8 days after I got told I was guilty, or the name was guilty. The judge rang out guilty in front of all the people in the room, at the courtroom. Judge straight, he's not even a judge, and who is he to judge anybody? Who is any judge to judge another? Huh? All you religious fanatics out here, what's that good book say about that? You're not to judge any other man, but yet y'all go up into their romper room fictional courts and let yourselves be judged. You know what the judge asked me getting off before I got off his bench? He says, where do you live? You know what I said to him? In this skin, the last I knew. What about you? Awful funny, he couldn't make any reply. He sat there silent. And according to their stuff in legal land, silence means he was in agreement by acquiescence, it's called. So in other words, if you get asked a question by any of those in the legal fiction realm and you don't answer, you're in agreement with them. If you don't tell them you do not consent, then you just consented. It's so crazy what they got going on, folks. I'm trying to break it down for you while we watch this beautiful sunrise, and excuse me for the rant, but I don't know how else to get this out to the world. You know, I'm just a little man in the middle of bum, you know what, Virginia. I will say, you've heard me say, I'm in the Smith Mountain Lake area, and I'm sitting here trying to share some truth with you folks, because I'm so sick and tired of seeing people talk about the government too. It wasn't government's fault. Government was set up by the people for the people, and guess what? The people don't want to know what government is and how to govern themselves. And once you figure out all what I figured out, guess what? We all can come out from under government, because we are supposed to be governing ourselves, and we are supposed to be in charge of this government that we all call government. But nobody wants to govern themselves. Everybody wants to be a bunch of overgrown children and piss and moan about what government does to them. Well, guess what? In order to fix that, you got to know what government is first and foremost. And even the lawyers have been brain trained to not understand and comprehend, overstand, understand, and understand all of what's going on. Why? Because they're kept in boxes called real estate lawyer, divorce lawyer, criminal lawyer. And guess what? I bet you 95% of them are still using fictional dollars, thinking they're paying for stuff too, and they ain't never paid a thing in their life. How do I know this? Because I found a legal term in their legal dictionary called payment by mistake. And it said under that definition, if both parties are ignorant of the fact. Now, I also found that investigations are the only way one can arrive at a so-called fact. How many of y'all have done investigations on this matter? Or any matter, for that goes? Think about that long and hard. Because it says, if both parties are ignorant of the fact. Now, what's the word ignorant? If I call some people out here in the world ignorant, they're ready to cut my head off and have a fist fight or whatever. Because they don't even know what ignorant means. Ignorant means lack of knowledge. That's it, that's all. So it says, back to the definition of payment by mistake. If they got a term called payment by mistake, could it be that there's a lot of folks out here making payments by mistake? Exactly. Because you can never make a payment with a Federal Reserve note. Go look up state of emergency on Wikipedia link. Click on state of emergency there and look how that ever since 1933, when Roosevelt called in all the gold here on so-called America and called bankruptcy for the United States Incorporated Company called Virginia Company, Dutch East India Trading Company, Hudson Bay Trading Company, and all the other trading companies that came here and conquered America with their Roman Catholic missions. They were on a mission with their crosses, which represented what? The Knights Templar and all these people. Only just flash forward to what they called the present or the future then. They were calling it a new world when they came here then. But yet, you got people out here in 2016 looking for a new world order. Guess what? It came back in 1600, people. Where were you? Sleeping. Oh, no, you weren't even around then. Oh, or were you in another vessel, in another automobile, like I talked about a minute ago? Yeah, you were probably here in another automobile, just like I was, in an AKA called body. Your spirit, the energy of you, the real you, the essence, the being. You were here in another frame, in another time, in another place. But like they say, there's no new thing under that sun right out there, is it? No, there is nothing new under that sun. Mama Earth has never went nowhere. She ain't going nowhere. Everything gets recycled. Like this tree's right there. That second oak tree is dying. The one behind the big one in the front. Did it die? Or did it just break down and go into the ground again, and all the little acorns that's been put out over the years will sprout up, and there'll be what? Another tree over there somewhere. Did it really die? Or did it just be reborn again? What's the Bible tell us? We need to be reborn again. Go figure, At birth, they Shanghai you and take your name and do a thing called sacrilege, which is desecration of anything sacred and holy. And they turn it into all capitals. What do you call your money system? Capitalization, the capital system, the capitalistic system, the capitalistic society. And how did they create that? Capitalizing off of your names that you were given to use while you were here this time around in the so-called body, the vessel. Huh? And you get a thing called citizen what? Ship. So you can do what? Commerce on the high seas of commerce. And who's behind all this? I've done told you. Mainly the Catholic Church. Why do they have everything hidden up underneath that building over there? All the gold, all the treasures, all the good stuff from all different cultures. Why did they come over here and wipe out the cultures that were here, the indigenous peoples? Why does it say what it says in the Rhode Island 1663 Royal Charter? I highly recommend anybody hearing this voice, when I get it onto the internet, to go read, look up, and go to the Secretary of State's website at Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. And why is plantation pluralized? That means there's more than one. Where are the rest of them? Back in those days, there was only like 13. Rhode Island being one of them. And then they started spreading west. And now you got 50 plus states and territories. And guess what? They're all plantations. And who's the master? Yes, sir, master. Yes, sir. Who's the good master? Who's getting reaping all the rewards and the benefit of us being slaves on these plantations called United States, called Central South America, and all of the so-called provinces up on Canada? All you folks on Canada, you think you want provinces? I got a little tidbit for you. Go look into what's called the Organization of American States. Why is all your Canadian provinces listed on their website, created in the 1890s, as a state? But yet y'all are told every day that you're in a province called Quebec or British Columbia, yada, yada, yada. More divide and conquer. Go look it up. Organization of American States. And guess what? It stretches from the tippity top of Canada all the way to the tippity bottom of South America. Now, how can they all be states? I thought all those places down in Central and South America were countries, like Brazil, Argentina, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I thought they were countries, their own nation. Well, why are they listed over there as a state? Just like all these 50 states, aka plantations of United States. Go look it up and then shout back at me, holler back at me, and tell me I was fooling you. Tell me I lied. Tell me I don't know what I was talking about. Good luck with that, because I've done 8 years of research. I've spent 40 years in what they call in the Bible the desert, in the wilderness. And the wilderness is where? In my mind, thinking all and believing and being brain trained in all these BS's, lies and deceits. And look at that word, deceit. Yeah, deceit. Take away from what? Your seat, your throne. Go figure, Look at the words, folks. It's all wordplay, I'm telling you right now. You don't have to believe me. Don't believe me. Go look it up for yourself. And then try to come back and tell me that I was wrong. Good luck. I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to come across as an egotistic maniac or anything. I'm trying to wake some people up, because it's all based on fear, lies, and deception. Clean your brain. Become really brainwashed. And the only way to do that is spend the time and undo the deception and lies. Because when you undo deception, you have what? Ception. When you undo the lies, you have what? Truth. When you undo the brain training, you have what? Brainwash. Your brain has been washed clean. Then and only then have you really become brainwashed people. I'm so sick and tired of seeing the craziness out there on the internet and everywhere. Talk about, the government this, the government that, they brainwashed everybody, da 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 da. It's all y'all act like a bunch of 2-year-olds, let me tell you. And that's what these people that run the show, that's what they know and they see too. They feel the same exact way. They're still looking down their nose like back in the days of the so-called aristocrats. They're saying, God dang, when will you people ever wake up and realize the game? Or will you ever wake up and realize this game and how it's being played? And they're hoping, I think there's some of them that really hope that we all would wake up. And I know there is. I can't say I think there is. I know there is some out there. It's only a handful. Like everybody knows, there's only like 1%, 2%, maybe 3% that's actually ruling the 97 other percent. So when we going to wake up and go back to school and educate ourselves instead of listening to everybody telling us what it is and what it should be? When are we going to start going on what we feel and what we know it to be? Love and compassion are the only ways to beat this stuff, folks. And I hate to even use the word beat it, because we don't have to beat it, we just have to do it. Become love and passionate for each other, for everything on this whole entire planet. Everybody says, oh, in the world, it says in the good book. I'm not preaching to you, because trust me, I totally despise all that stuff because of what's been done through it. I am highly spiritual. I love nature. I love people. Now, I can't always say that I did, but I see the bigger picture now. I could have ran out the back door. I could finish my legal so-called junk, and they'd probably let me right out the back door. But you know what would happen? I wouldn't be able to get out here and share it with anybody, because they'd have me under gag orders. And what would I get if I did? Some fictional debt notes? Yeah, back to that. The word, payment by the terms. The combination of words, the term, payment by mistake. It says, if both parties are ignorant of the fact that the notes in circulation are insolvent, blah, 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 blah. Insolvent's a nice way of saying bankrupt. Go look it up. Now, why would they say that stuff? They're telling you that both parties were ignorant and you never made payment. And then it gives you it lists like a dozen or more court cases. Federal, state levels, all kind of different levels. It tells you right outright